All righty.
Hi, everyone. This is Julia here, recording this on October 18th, 2022. And I have the famous Eugene Linton here. He, he never wears a shirt. And
I'll probably wear one in Portugal.
probably wear one as he's traveling here to Portugal. But are you 22 or 23, Eugene?
22.
Yeah, he's 22 years old and he's so tapped into source. It's amazing the stuff he knows, the wisdom he has. And I think he derives a lot of that just from having such a clean body and gets to that resonance. Is that what you would say, Eugene?
Yeah, I suppose. I really do think, people downplay food, but once you don't, put in, bad fuel, there's not many problems that can go wrong with the vehicle.
And also, it gives you just more of a connection to things outside of the normal 3D that we live in, too, where
Exactly.
you can kind of get those downloads and just those epiphanies seem to come to you, things like that. And
Exactly.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm a big believer that it's all about pure observation or clear observation, and I really do think that's about like removing, how do you say, my bias and my subjectivity. That's the main thing. I think healing is really about removing my how do you say, inconsistencies, my logical fallacies, all of these things. And again, that comes from not having parasites, not having, not that I don't have any, right, but not having much mucoid plaque, not having much candida, not eating things that are going to be conflicting to your body. So 100%, Julia, that I really do think that, again, cleaning the subjectivity and bias, it goes hand in hand with taking the poison outside of my body.
Right. And I do think there's definitely an element to mind over matter when it comes to food. Like some people can just eat crap and still live to be 100. But I was just saying the other day, if that person was eating really pure nature's intended food, fresh, ripe fruit off the tree or off the vine, then they might have lived till 200. Who
Yes.
knows? And maybe without, with less pain, with less hardship. So yeah, I think that's definitely an issue that people need to face, and it triggers everybody, doesn't it? Diet just triggers so many people.
Yes. And Julia, this is literally why you and I are here talking today. This is really, I think it comes down to diet, because what we want is a community that respects themselves, and in respecting their own anatomy will respect others, right? So it's not about I'm better than you or I'm worse than you, but it's about saying, can a family come together on one thing, which is healing, right? And healing cannot be done, right, if we're eating horrible foods, if we're eating toxic, horrible kinds of foods like this. So yeah, definitely. And so, really why I got into contact with Julia, and really why I really want to champion this Operation Lighthouse movement is exactly that, is creating community with alkaline electric native foods, and that it's just going to be a perpetual healing thing. So people who are drawn to Julia's community, we'll probably go into that a little bit and reiterate what we were talking about earlier, but you can just come in tent, and as long as you're helping with the community, you're planting trees, you're helping build things on structures that are not fully complete, and different things like that. And again, it's just a service-based community. And how are we facilitating this service? Through clean food, through clean energy. Because this is the thing, Julia, is there's nothing else better to be doing than what we're trying to do right now, is there?
Definitely not. And if you look at the alternative of going forward in a technocratic smart city kind of matrix system, like I can't imagine going that direction at this point. It really is a pivotal time right now, and people need to make decisions on what they want to do. Do they want to go work and barely be able to pay their bills to survive, or work in a
Yeah.
community, and you get to help other people? And you're focused on healing the body, which is super important, and I'm focused on healing the emotional body as well, and doing
Yes.
that shadow work and the emotional healing work. And between those two things, I mean, the magic that can happen from a community like that just remains to be seen.
Exactly. And that's what I think is so exciting is it remains to be seen. Whereas we've already seen everything in the matrix, we've already seen everything in the control systems. We've seen it all. And I think most of us are completely done with it. Most of us can't handle that kind of stuff anymore. And, really it's this a concept or ideology of, you just by being there, you need to be taxed. You know what I mean? Just by being there, you're not enough. But that's the thing. I want to create societies where just being yourself is enough. And that, when you're helping the community, when you're doing these things, it's natural. It's not something that has to be forced because, again, you love the community. You love the other like yourself because you're eating these good foods. And so you love yourself, right? You're loving these foods. And because of that, again, it'll just be a natural flow of energy. And so, I think real soon, Julia, we'll feel this how do you say this unity that becomes like one energy. So we'll feel like we're united, that we're a common force. And I think that's what's missing in the matrix is it's every man for himself. Everyone is divided. No one looks after, no one cares about the water, right? No one cares about the plants. No one cares about the food quality. Everyone just wants instant gratification. And I think that's what we're detoxing from now is slowly now we're going more towards long term, looking after the mother, living symbiotically, having a reciprocal family and reciprocal environment, and really being appreciated and appreciating others, right?
Exactly, yeah. And no one ever has to want for anything. And it'll be in small enough communities where if something's up with somebody, even if they don't say anything, somebody will notice and it'll be remedied. And yeah, it's how it should be. We've just gotten so far away from that. And it's like people my age that were, from the 60s and 70s, we kind of had that kind of feel back then, getting in communities and escaping the system. And then half those people, I guess, are NPCs or something because they became lawyers and doctors and all this. But the ones who didn't, they're like, okay, now we've had our life experience and we're ready to do that again now. So this time, we got technology to back us and all kinds of other cool things going on. So it's time. It's time.
It's time, and that's the signal I'm getting from everyone. Just from other people's demeanor, just from the way things are happening. The Matrix, like as you were describing, I feel like there's immense claustrophobia building in the Matrix. Whether it happens to be money, whether it happens to be your family members who want you to get vaccinated, whatever it is, really, there's an immense amount of pressure there, and I don't think it'll ever stop. Whereas I think these areas, I call it again Operation Lighthouse areas, right? Will just be areas of decompression, really. Like, not that we won't have any order at all. I think a healthy amount of order is good and direction is good. Like, again, building necessary buildings, common areas, planting trees, researching the native herbs of that area, all these kinds of things. Great things to do, right? But so much of the matrix is not appreciating, not doing, not appreciating, not going so fast from one area to another, and just without gratitude, without grace, just ignoring everything. It's like you're always living in a blur, like you don't even know where you're going in some sense. And that's what I think nature allows you to harness is what am I doing, just to get really in contact with my actions, right? What am I doing every day? And the other thing is, Julia, is a lot of us don't have time to be alone with ourselves. And that is, I think, the biggest time healing work happens is when you're alone with yourself. And so in the matrix, which the matrix is the collective, right? In that collective, there's no time for the self. There's only time for celebrities. There's only time for idols. There's only time for images. There's only time for bad food. There's all these distractions. So I think that's going to be a big question, Julia, is what happens when there are no distractions?
Right. That's when people will have to start facing themselves and doing that shadow work and their emotional healing work. And that's a good thing about this community that I'm and my friend Lisa also was brainstorming about is we want that to be one of the focus is people who are trying to heal emotionally and do their shadow work. So yeah, and what you were saying about in the Matrix, how everything's so rushed and just gotta hurry up, do this, do that. And I find myself myself even doing that out here sometimes when I'm walking the dog. I'm like rushing to get back, and I'm like, why am I even doing that? But we get so programmed into that rush, rush, rush. Hurry up, get that done. Hurry up, get that done. And it's so silly, even when you don't have to do it, you're just still in that automatic pilot for doing that. And
Exactly.
nature teaches you you can't rush nature. You're not going to rush that tree growing.
Yeah.
You have to wait. So it's really good, and we have to get back to that more natural rhythm in life, and not just
Yes.
be looking around and never have time, but yet we have time to always be entertaining ourselves, and like you said, putting crap in our bodies. And a lot of the crap that we eat isn't even food. It's chemicals that give us a buzz, really.
Yeah, exactly. It's not even nutrition. And yeah, you hit it on the head. I mean, just with this fake nutrition, right? This dopamine rushes, but not real nutrition. We're so concerned with that rush. Really, we're so addicted to that rush. We're so addicted to that instant gratification. And again, there's a great sense of humility when you're not allowed to rush. Like you said, when a tree grows, it has to grow the way it's going to grow, and there's nothing really you can do about it. And that's the key, I think, is yeah, is now we have to return to the natural pace. We have to really respect the organism and different things like this. And that's precisely it, is we need to target the impatience of mankind to return to what is natural. Now, Julia, do you want to touch on any other subjects, or should we do a quick run through of the space that you're bringing to the light?
Yeah, that's fine. We can talk about this space, and I've talked about it before. It's 7 hectares, which is about 17 acres, and it's got a lot of area that's flattened out. It's got a little pond. There's a well, so there's well water. It just gets electricity off the grid, but definitely panels could be something in the future. There's a building that just probably needs about 1,000 euros worth of work to make it into a nice dwelling. There's a couple other buildings that take a little more work that could be made into things. The owner's cool about all this, and if he ever tries to sell, I'm sure we can manifest the money, whatever it might be. I don't think it would be that much. And yeah, it's just a really cool location, even though it's very private and very countrified. It's still only 15 minutes to get to a grocery store, also to get to the beach, or the other direction to the mountain. Go up to the mountain and get our drinking water straight out of the mountain. And they actually bottle and sell it here, Monchique drinking water, 9.5 pH. So,
Let me
yeah.
repeat that. 9.5 pH, ladies and gentlemen. Just that means we can just be on that water and nothing else at all. Really. You know what I mean? And at the same time, I just want to fill in just a bit, put some more meat on the bones, right? You were saying that this is very much like a vortex. So it's almost like you're kind of shielded off. It's very quiet, but only 15 minutes away, there's a city, right?
Yeah, well, we're in a village, so even less than that, you can just walk down their long little driveway, and there's little cafes. So yeah, you're isolated if you want to be, but if you want people, that's right around the corner, and you can jump on the bus and go to either the mountain village or the beach village. They kind of call cities villages here, but
But
yeah.
this is it. This is precisely what Harry Potter is referencing when they go on this random train track. They disappear and they go to somewhere else. Well, this is it. Well, there's a place where you can just completely disappear off the face of the earth. And if you need to go back to the Matrix for whatever reason, food, supplies, whatever it is, it's just a quick thing out. And another thing is, let's see. So it's 15 minutes from Portimao, right? The southwest edge of Portugal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just wanted people to get somewhat of an idea. And me and Julia were joking that it'd be so amazing after the Morocco team is official. If we had like a big boat in the future, we could go from that southwest port area to Morocco, and we could be like shipping things that Morocco doesn't have to Portugal, or from Portugal, or things to Portugal that from Morocco. it's just fantastic the things we can be thinking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love the boat idea. I think it's awesome and totally doable. Yeah, why not?
And then
You just
another thing,
to do things. That's how I've always been. You just think of something and then you do it.
exactly.
That's what we're gonna do.
And that's what the Morocco team is all about. They're big on the architects research, and architects always points out all the simulacrum or the simulatrix I like to call recognizes his actions. That's it. It doesn't care about your thoughts. It doesn't care about your feelings. Not that they're not important, but it's your actions that what change the literal structure of reality, right? So that's all it really works off of, and then it knits your own future based off of your actions. But some other thing I think that might be important to bring up is the weather, right? So you were saying that, or the climate and the temperature. You were saying that it really doesn't get that cold, especially because it's the southwest edge. That I think the lowest it gets is 40 degrees Fahrenheit. I think you said so. That's still above freezing, and it's very viable to tent and stuff. And yeah, could you go into that just a bit?
Yeah, it's totally tent weather most of the year. And if people were actually out here staying in tents, if the weather was inclement, they could always come into the major house. We got a really giant living room, so that wouldn't be a problem. Just kind of have a slumber party if the weather
Yeah.
isn't
And you
perfect.
said it's like 1 to 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, when the weather's not, yeah, and it's not necessarily the whole week. You might have a few days one week, and then yeah, the weather here is really ideal.
But that would be cool too if God forces us once in a while to really, cuddle and huddle and have
Right.
to be more close to each other within the communities. So, but yeah, I think just to get the people an idea, I think this community that you're referencing again has a larger land than the one I'm looking at with the Anna. And I think again, there's a lot of tenting potentiality and just a lot of again being close. And some other guys were pointing out teepees and stuff, great for grounding. So just different options like this, I think this community is going to be fantastic in that regard. And then in the future, right, projections wise, like you said, that one very humble building that's very small, we can maybe fill that up with bunk beds or whatever we need to do. And then in that other stable kind of area, we can build that up into a greater kind of communal housing or whatever office, whatever we need, whatever the community that community needs. And that's very much what I want to do is work based off of what the community needs, right? So instead of saying this one star show thing comes in and does whatever enterprise McDonald's star show wants to do, no, I think we should do based off of what the community needs. And so whatever community members are there, they get involved, and so that's why they're tied to the decisions. And this is what is going to happen on a governance scale, on a worldwide scale. Is now it's going to be more individual, and this is precisely what I mean by Operation Lighthouse. Is that there is no force outside of me that's going to ruin my life or make my life great. It's me. I'm tied in with what happens in the community, and I think that's what people need to start to realize, and that's why people are so eager to move and different things like this. But yeah, and I would love for you to go a little bit into the irrigation. You said there used to be an irrigation system that some brother kind of made, and maybe we can fix that up. And there's a lot of flat land for planting and so, correct?
Yeah, correct. Murray, he's a errant staying out here. He found me through my YouTube channel. And he's from Scotland. He has a van that he has solar and everything on it. So he has his van's really cool. He has everything he needs, and he's parked out there next to that building that we've been talking about. And he's dug up a bunch of the hoses that are already out here and kind of culling out the bad ones and just seeing what's what. And he's also working on electro gardening, where you make these different electric devices and gather electricity from the ether. So yeah, doing things like that. So that's another cool thing. You can come out here and experiment with all the cool things that you see other people doing on YouTube and gardening. Like Ken Wheeler does all the stuff with the magnets. And I've done that with seeds where you put them on the magnet before you plant them, and it really, it's always helped with mine. They always sprout all of them. So yeah, there's all kinds of that stuff. So there is well water here, which is good because there's often it's dry in this area, So that's a big plus. That's a problem with a lot of the properties in Portugal is not having a water source. So that's really good about this property. So yeah, there's just so much potential and so much fun and so much community to be had.
Fantastic. That's what we all want to hear, literally, right? And so yeah, I think that covers the brunt of it. I would love for you to bring up whatever else you need to bring, but I mean that's essentially it. Again, a big thing that really moved me was, you know, different people that are not in the best environment. It seems like all they would need is just some guidance. You know, it seems like all they would need is just some, you know, options of good food. Like for instance, I can, you know, once a week or like I'm saying, every other week or something, do a bunch of cooking stuff. So like for 1 week, maybe I do a bunch of, you know, quinoa specials or chickpea omelets or, you know, whatever it is, or, you know, alkaline electric bread. And then the next week we do a fruit fast, you know, whatever it is, right? But it's like if people had other people around them that were being healthy, you know, that were at least alkaline electric, I think we could change this world so quick, right? Because what's happening is in the matrix, it's so easy to just get like a $3 bag or a $1 bag of chips. That's just, you know, completely trash, but it's the convenience factor. And so that's what's lacking, I think, Julia, is this convenience that's outside of the matrix. There is no outside of the matrix is so inconvenient. And so if we can change that and turn that around and make it so that, you know, what is natural is easy, because that's what it is, Julia, is what's unnatural is hard. But we haven't recognized that yet, and we're so backwards and twisted. We think what is you know, unhealthy for us is the best, easy, most convenient option, and it's not. So it's great if we can be the ones to champion that and turn around, don't you think?
Yeah, that's such a good point because you're just getting that whole habit and just do how everybody else does. Grab the fast food, grab the junk food. And then if everybody around you is eating the good stuff, that's what you're going to do. Plus, you know, half the fruit you buy nowadays, it doesn't even taste good because it's not ripe. So if you grow your own fruit, you also know it doesn't have pesticides. And you know, you can use all the human waste if everybody's eating clean, mucus rich
Yes.
diet. All we don't, there's no waste problems at all because you just put it right back into the farming. And you know, it's just like nature intended, you know. So yeah, that part is just super easy.
That's exactly it, right? That's exactly it. There will be no waste, because if our waste is clean of poison, it's not waste, it's fertilizer. You know what I mean? So it's just, it's beautiful that you brought that up. And that's precisely it, Julia. I really think it's going to be like the rats. If you know, rats will take heroin, right? But if they're in a natural environment, they don't need heroin. And so that's exactly what I'm going for is, you know, these people that are addicted to the matrix, I really don't think they're going to be addicted to the matrix for long. I think these people that are dedicated to an alkaline electric native diet and at the same time are supported by a community that is doing so, that vibration, that strong vibration, which is lacking in the matrix, that coherence frequency that's being held up by at least 2, 3 people is going to, you know, do miracles. And it's not going to be about Eugene. It's not going to be about Julia, but it's going to be about what Eugene, Julia, and so come together and do together. That's what's going to be powerful, in my opinion.
Yep, no doubt. And it's, you know, like I said earlier, it is that time. And so it's so exciting. I'm glad we got to discuss all this and get this moving. And yeah, it doesn't take much. People, a lot of times, you know, they're like, okay, well, in 5 years, I'll think about moving to Europe kind of thing. You know, it's like, no, you just do it. And I remember when I moved to Prague in 2005, I did it because I needed to quit partying so much. But I just did it, you know. I just got rid of 2-story house full of crap, scaled down to 2 suitcases and did it. People are like, "I can't believe you just did that." Yeah, and ever since then, I've always just been like that, and all that stuff that we have all this attachment to, and you know, we had so many people have those jobs, and my friend was just saying a lot of people have jobs, but they still have to sleep in their car because they don't have enough money for rent, even though they're
Yeah.
working full time. So how messed up is that? Like anybody who doesn't want to get in the community, I can't really even understand that mindset. But yeah, and like you said, just have all these various communities and trade with each other, and just before you know it, we won't need the system at all, except for a few
Yes.
little things.
Precisely. There will be so much love that we won't need to go back to hate, which is attachment, really, right? And that's what I see this as, is going to camp forever, because, when I was younger, I did this one camp called Camp Kupagani. And I thought to myself, why can't life just be this? Why can't life just be with all these other kids and these guidance counselors, like these adults that watch over us, and really it's like freedom in nature. And of course that camp wasn't eating well. They were feeding us cereal and probably meats and all this different kind of bullshit. But why can't we have an alkaline electric camp, and just do it forever and do it for our lives, do it for living, because that's what living is, right? Why can't we do this? And really the answer is we can. It's just a matter of who's dedicated and who's not.
Exactly, we can do it. So, and it's funny because I always feel like I'm camping out here, even in the house. I always have the windows open and I have like mountain air that comes right in my room, just always flowing. So I always kind of feel like I'm camping anyway, and I love that, just eternal camping for
Eternal camping.
the rest of this ride that we have in this existence, whatever you want to call it, this realm. And I love that simulatrix, simulatrix. That's
Yeah,
great.
that's my favorite way to say it, because again, matrix and simulation, right? Simulatrix. I love
Right.
that
No
much.
one can no one can correct the pronunciation on that one because it's a brand new word. So you,
Yeah.
you get to decide.
Yeah, because a simulacrum, yeah, that's great, but yeah, whatever. Simulatrix sounds, it has a nice, yeah, but whatever. But Julie, it's been fantastic talking to you. I think I actually have to jump on a call soon with the Morocco team, and I might do that
Okay.
live. So yeah, we'll
Yeah,
see what happens.
awesome.
Could
Okay,
you could
perfect.
you could you send me this recording? I'll post it on Star Show too.
Right. Yeah, and I'll put Star Show's link in the description and in the comments. And thanks everybody for listening. And remember to always focus on what you want,
Yes.
and help others if you can. And have a good morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are. And we'll talk
And
to
I
you
might
next
even
time.
say, focus on what you need, because you'll realize what you need is what you want.
Exactly. Ciao, ciao.